Ergayga qaramada midoobay u qaabilsan dalka Soomaaliya ayaa waxa uu ka hadlay dhibaatooyinka oo hortaagan doorashada dalka Soomaaliya la filayo inay dhawaan ka dhacdo jaamacadda Barani oo gareewo jooga ayaa faafahinta warkaasi inoo haya.
Ergaygaarkii arrimaha Soomaaliya u qaabilsan qaramada midoobay Ambassador Michel Keaton ayaan ka waraystay arrimo la xiriira doorashada Soomaaliya ee dagaalka gaalkacyo. Keaton ayaan ku helay fursadaha su'aalaha ku weydiiyay kadib markuu ka soo baxay kulan uu garowe kula yeeshay guddiga doorashooyinka heer federaal iyo heer maamul kuwaas oo ay ka wada hadleen arrimaha doorashooyinka. waxaana waxyaabihii cajiibka ahayd ee Keaton ka dhawaajiyay kamid ahaa markii aan weydiiyay maadaama 12 xildhibaan oo kaliya ay haatan diyaar yihiin oo Puntland lagu doortay waxa laga yeelayo haddii waqtiga doorashadu soo dhawaado waxa uu sheegay in aan loo baahnayn muddo kororsi dheeraad ah laakiin mar walba ay arrintu ku xiran tahay inta xildhibaanada laga doorto maamulada haddii ay kooramka buuxiyaan in doorashadu ay dhacayso oo ay markaas khasab ahayn in aan la sugi karin maamulada kale. su'aasha ugu horeysa ee Keaton ka jawaabay waxay ahayd waxyaabaha ay ka wada hadleen guddida heer federaal iyo heer maamul ee uu maanta garowe kula kulmay. We need some comment about the meeting today.
Yes. Today I met with the Vice President and members of the Puntland government. I then met with the chair of the C8 and members of the F8 to discuss electoral progress. As so often the case, Puntland is leading the way by having started elections to the House of the People. I think a challenge now is going to be to register the candidates, including to ensure the minimum women's representation so that the NLF, the National Leadership Forum quota of 30% women can be met. But I'm very encouraged by how well the process has been going, by the work of the C8, by the support of the F8, and that it's been a peaceful process. There have been a few problems, of course, but overall it's remarkable how much has been achieved in such a short space of time, and I hope that we can stick to the schedule in the coming weeks, as well as ensure the full women's quota in the House of the People.
It's still only 12 lawmakers upper house are ready. Do you think the election needs more extension?
I hope not. I mean, what the chair of the C8 has told me is that the next phase of elections will be in the coming days, and that the final phase will be completed by approximately in 10 days' time or 2 weeks' time maximum. So I'm hoping that there will not be an extension. The presidential election. Obviously, the presidential election can only take place once there is a quorum of members of parliament in both the upper house and in the House of the People. There will be a quorum in the upper house once Hirshabelli completes the election of senators, and I'm told that will be this week, and then there will be enough MPs in the upper house for them to elect both the Speaker and the President, but then we also need a quorum in the lower house. So I suspect we will have that quorum at some point in the next 10 days to 2 weeks, in which case the election of the President can go ahead on time. But of course there is always the possibility of small slippage because of the practical difficulties in organizing this electoral process.
The corruption issue is what the Somali people also talking about it during the election. What about this?
I think, there are a number of problems associated with the process, and the international community has already been very clear about its concerns, including, corruption, harassment, intimidation, including of the media, by the way. And unfortunately, there are too many examples of this. But we are in touch with all the authorities, including the security authorities, the state presidents, the clan elders, to try and minimize this. We also have observers looking at what's going on to try and make sure that the process is as free and fair as possible. But I think the big picture is, despite the many problems, on the whole things are going ahead.
The last question is about Galkayo issue. Already 1 month around, the fight is going there between the Galmudug state and Puntland state. Is there any attempt led by UN for negotiate both states?
The problem to Galkayo has to be resolved by Somalis. The UN can facilitate this, but this is not a problem that the UN can solve. This has to be a problem solved among Somalis. And what we are encouraging Somali leadership to do, whether in Puntland or in Galmudug or the federal government, is first of all to achieve a ceasefire, secondly to agree on what the key problems are that need to be resolved, and thirdly to initiate a process to address those problems. But I'm very concerned that the ceasefire keeps being broken. It is very important that this ceasefire is maintained and that quickly we bring everyone together to support the community in Galkayo, which after all has kept the peace for over 20 years. This is community leaders on both sides, and support them to maintain peace in that city, because that is very important for all of Somalia.
Thank you. Thank you. dad badan ayaa isweydiinayay maadaama balantii hore ay ahayd 3 bisha November inay dhacdo doorashada Soomaaliya ee madaxtinimo, laakiin hadalka maanta ergeygaarkii qaramada midoobay ambassador Keaton uu sheegay Somali cable waxa uu noqonayaa mid markaas dadka wax badan ay kaga fahmayaan, maadaama uu ka dhawaajiyay inaan loo baahnayn in xildhibaanada dhammaan soo wada dhiso, loo baahan yahay in la dhiso xildhibaano kooramka buuxin kara, sidaasna ay doorasho madaxtinimo ku dhici karto marka kooramku uu buuxsamo. waa jaamacad Baraani oo ka soo hadlaya Somali Cable TV Garowe.